Good morning, guys. It's Colin with Ghost Train Comics, and today we are looking at Absolute Flash Volume 2. I did do a review of Volume 1, so if you haven't read that yet, I will include it so as you can do them in order and so you know where you're at, or if you're choosing on whether or not to read it, it'll hopefully give you a few ideas. So, Volume 2 covers issues 7 to 12. Two main art teams, Nick Robles and Travis Moore, and A.L. Kaplan as well, helping out. Jeff Lemire, of course, is the writer on this, continuing on from Volume 1. And issue 7 is Trials of the Flash Part 3. Super creepy, epic weather wizard. This was a really nice surprise, a nice revelation, with the absolute approach to Wally's speed and energy dived into here as well, with an interesting twist added. This is the first time they've really kind of dug into this, and it reminded me of the first post-crisis run with Mike Barron, really digging into that when Wally had just started and was still finding his feet and trying a few different things, such as being a mercenary for hire to do super speed jobs. But the whole notion of food for fuel back then was very prevalent. So it's interesting seeing it come back in here and seeing a super quick solution to it as well. Also, some great rogue gallery interactions here and a nice twist at the end of issue 7. Issue 8 is the epic origin of Barry Allen, and it reveals a lot more about Eleanor Thawne, her grandfather Eobard, and World War II era Jay Garrick. What's funny reading this is how good it is and how much it would be raved over as an outstanding title if it was on any other line. But with the trinity of absolute titles, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, hogging so much of the attention oxygen, that poor old Flash and Green Lantern have kind of not quite been given the recognition that they deserve, in my book. It's super fast, smooth, and utterly engrossing in a very Robert Kirkman readability fashion. Lemire is such a smooth plotter, writer. His dialogue is so natural, his characters are handled and drawn so well that you just get swept along in it. And it's very seldom that you're thinking of the mechanics or the plot or something is out of step, because he just blends it all in so seamlessly. He's such a pro, having been doing it all for so long. And that's what I mean by Kirkman. Kirkman is so intentional in his simplicity. And he plots ahead and structures everything so well that you never notice the scaffolding behind it. You just notice how smoothly you go through it and what a great ride it is. Issues 9 and 10 see more great development of the rogues, and we continue our deep dive into the backstory of Barry and Eleanor. And Stillpoint is much more fully fleshed out. Again, the power of the colorist Adriano Lucas cannot be underplayed as the art jumps off the pages and utterly immerses us in this world. Similarly, letterer Tom Napolitano deserves some kudos here as well, with his letters help fully creating the world, especially with characters like Eobard Thawne, Grodd, and Weather Wizard, all getting their unique kind of lettering and the sound effects, of course. Travis Moore on issue 7, The Trials of the Flash, and issue 8, The Life and Death of Barry Allen, with Nick Robles back on issue 9, The Rogue's Revenge Part 1, and 10, Rogue's Revenge Part 2. Then The War of the Flashes Part 1 at 11, and then split duties with A.L. Kaplan, the more cartoonish, fluid style, helping out on the last issue of this volume, with Robles doing the setup pieces for Volume 3, or Year 2 as it's being posited by Lemire and the Absolute team as it even calls out end of year 1 at the end of issue 12. Issue 11 rockets us into an epic confrontation with Wally learning about Stillpoint and his powers at an almost exponential rate. Well, it's to, again, as I mentioned earlier with the food for energy piece, you get little vibes, little mapping points, and it might just be me remembering because I read the original kind of post-crisis issues. They're some of my first and some of my favorite, most impactful DC comics. The amazing covers, the amazing kinetic energy of Butch Guice, and Mark Barron's straightforward, old-fashioned storytelling, which worked really well at that point. Then early Mark Waid, where we rediscovered the joy of the character of Wally West and the joy of superheroics that Mark always makes so infectious, because he just has such a sheer strong love for the medium and is so good at bringing out the best in the characters. So little kind of inflection points, little reflection points here with those runs. Issue 12, part 2 of the War of the Flashes continues the fast pace and plot developments, setting us up for the second year of Absolute Flash, with all of the characters moved around the board, nobody in the same position that we started out in. So it's not like a lot of the, for instance, Spider-Man books where everything has to be reset almost. Peter has to be miserable again at the end of a story arc. Everything has to be taken away, stripped back. He has to be out of work or at least struggling to pay rent, blah, blah. The boring kind of reset. It's not like that here. Wally is on his own at the end of it, but it's positioned quite well, and it leaves me wanting to see more and see what adventures that go on now with the new knowledge of his powers, his limits, etc. So that is it for Absolute Flash Volume 2, guys. Would love some comments. Obviously, would love a subscribe. Any likes or shares that you guys want to give us. But yeah, until next time, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this with me, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.